Hi there, this is Phil Carlson once again coming to you with a quick message for your personal, professional, and spiritual growth. And I'm speaking with you today out of John chapter 14, verses 1 through 3, which say, "Do not let your heart be troubled." This is Jesus speaking, obviously. "Do not let your heart be troubled. Believe in God, believe also in me. In my Father's house are many dwelling places. If it were not so, I would have told you, for I go to prepare a place for you. If I go and prepare a place for you, I will come again and receive you to myself, that where I am, there you may be also." Now, Jesus is speaking here to his disciples in general. But he just finished a conversation with Peter, which ties into this in such a way that it's obvious Jesus is still aiming this at Peter while also aiming it at the rest of the disciples. At the end of John chapter 13, Jesus actually is talking with Peter and he's explaining to his disciples he's about to be betrayed, he's about to be given over to death. And Simon Peter, it says in verse 36 of John 13, said to him, "Lord, where are you going?" And Jesus answered, "Where I'm going, you cannot follow me now, but you will follow later." Peter said to him, "Lord, why can I not follow you right now? I will lay down my life for you." Jesus replied, "Will you lay down your life for me? Truly, truly I say to you, a rooster will not crow until you deny me 3 times. What Jesus is now doing when he says, "Don't let your heart be troubled" to the disciples, is this about his future betrayal? Yes, I suppose you could include that. But he's also speaking to Peter, having just explained to Peter, "You're about to fail me in a major way." And he's basically telling Peter, "You, Peter, don't let your heart be troubled. Trust me. I'm going. The purpose of all of this is for me to go and prepare a place for you. Your failure will not inhibit my plans." And this is a huge message for every one of us, for every believer who looks at our life situation and we look at the things that God has put on our hearts and we say, "Man, I have failed God big time." Maybe it was through sin. Maybe it was through our inability. Maybe it was because we weren't able to complete an assignment. Maybe there was sickness. Whatever the issue was, Jesus' call on our lives and his purpose for our lives is greater than our weaknesses. So he says to us, "Do not let your heart be troubled." Instead, we can trust in him, knowing that if we continue to trust in him, we can know that he has prepared a place for us. And when he says, "I go to prepare a place for you," that is language related to a marriage. He's saying, with him going to the cross, he says, "Look, I'm leaving to prepare a place for you." And in first century Judaism, one of the things that was done is after a man became betrothed to a woman, the equivalent of engagement, but much more intense than that, more intense than engagement to be married in American Western society. Betrothal was a lot closer to marriage itself without the physical parts of it. That man, now betrothed to that woman, is going to build a room onto his father's house. And so now his wife, once he comes to retrieve her to get married, she moves in with him into the room that's part of his house, his father's house. So he says, "In my Father's house are many dwelling places. If it were not so, I would have told you. For I go to prepare a place for you." So Jesus is saying, I am preparing a room for you to be with me in my Father's house. I'm coming. You're my bride. I'm the groom. I'm coming to get you. So even though I'm disappearing for a while now, when I return, I'm bringing you to my Father's house. So the betrayal that Peter engages in by denying Jesus 3 times, in sin, in weakness also, in fear, this betrayal does not mean that what Jesus has done and is about to do is ineffectual for Peter. It will still be effectual. All that Peter needs to do is trust Jesus, cling to him, and believe him at his word. And so when Jesus returns, he will set Peter back in, and in fact, bring Peter into an even more intimate, a better place with him and greater understanding, which of course is revealed in the last chapter of the Gospel of John, something I'll cover in the next video. But be encouraged today. Whatever God has called you to do, however you failed him, if you trust in Jesus, remembering that His grace is sufficient to deal with whatever the sin is, then you confess the sin, you repent of it, and you trust in Jesus, and His plan will not be defeated for your life. Well, God bless you, and have a great day.